Welcome. Hey guys, welcome. My name is Angie Snow, and I wanted to welcome you to my webinar today on time management. I named this webinar, Stop Being Busy and Start Being Productive. And the reason I did that is because I'm a little bit busy, and I have a lot of people saying, "Oh, you're so busy, you're so busy." And that kind of bothered me a little bit. And I was like, why does it bother me when people say you're so busy? And it is because I looked up the word busy, and the definition for busy is having a lot of things to do. And I thought, I don't like that. I don't want to be known as someone who is busy and just has a lot of things to do. I want to be known as someone who's productive. And productive sounds like a better word than busy. And so I looked up the definition of productive, and it is someone who accomplishes a lot of good things. It's accomplishing and bringing forward good things. So today on the webinar, we're going to be less busy and more productive. We're going to be bringing forth good things. So I wanted to thank you for joining me, and thank you for being on the call, on the webinar with me, joining me live. If you are rewatching this, because this will be saved on my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to this YouTube channel below. It is just the Snow Business Coaching business channel. So please subscribe, and you'll be able to see these webinars. I'll be doing them often, and I would love to have you join and learn and share these. There's going to be a lot of valuable things that I'm sharing with you today. So first of all, grab a notebook. If you have some paper, pen, we're going to be doing a couple of little exercises today during the webinar to help you get your time organized and in order, and you will be surprised at how much time you have. So get your notebook ready, and you're also going to want to take notes. You're going to want to take notes because I have a lot of information that I'm going to share with you that is relevant and fun and will help you so much no matter what you're doing, whether you stay at home, whether you work, whatever you're doing in your life, this training is for you. And so you belong here. I'm grateful that you're here, and I wanted to thank you for joining me today and investing your time in increasing your productivity, because that's what we're going to do today. I also wanted to give a shout out to Lacey. She's my assistant, and she is helping me today on this webinar. She's going to be letting me know if you have any comments or questions. So there is a little chat box that you can chat in this Google Hangout. You can get on and you can chat and you can ask any questions. I'm on my phone here. I'm waiting for your questions and your comments and your messages. So let me know if you have any, and Lacey will relay those to me so that we can address that. That's the bonus of being on this live, is we get to have some interaction, and it will be a lot of fun. So I'm so glad you're here. Well, let me first tell you why time management is so important to me, and why this is something that I've been studying and trying to improve in my own life. My friends and family have a nickname for me, and they've called me this for years, and it's Superwoman. You are like Superwoman. You get so much done in a day. How do you do that? You make me tired. You do more in one day than I do in a whole week. And I'm like, I don't know. How do I do that? So I really started studying my time and focusing on what am I doing different, and how am I able to increase my capacity to accomplish these things. And as I started looking into it, I started seeing a lot of things that I was doing wrong, and I started seeing some mistakes that I was making. And so I've made some adjustments and some improvements, and now I'm able to manage my time in a way that helps me stay productive, but also helps me be less stressed. And it helps me to find more happiness and joy in my life. And so I want to share these things with you so that you can have these same results and even better results. I want you guys to just knock it dead. My husband teases me. He calls me a bag lady. And the reason he does this is because I have this little obsession with bags. I have so many bags. I have a gym bag that I take to the gym, or I take to ball games when I play volleyball or softball. I have the swim bag because when I go out playing with my kids at the swimming pool, we have all the swimming towels, the sunscreen, the swimming pool toys, things like that in my swim bag. I have my work bag. My work bag has folders and notebooks and tasks and things that I need to work in my work bag. I have lunch bags to take my lunch. I have to plan my meals. I have my computer bag, my laptop bag. I have my purse. I have a lot of purses. I love purses. I love handbags. I have my wallet. I have a makeup bag because I care about, self-care, making sure that I take care of myself. I have I have a church bag. I have a church bag that I take to church on Sundays. What else do I have? I've got my notes here because I didn't want to forget any of these. Okay. I have a scrapbook bag. Does anyone else have a scrapbook bag? Scrapbooking was kind of a big thing about 15, 20 years ago, and I got really involved in scrapbooking. I was a consultant for a large scrapbooking company, and I loved doing that. So on my scrapbooking bag, I have all of these bags. And for me, it's kind of fun because each of these bags represent a different part of my life and a different part of me. I have my swim bag that reminds me of my kids and how important it is for me to spend time with my kids. I have my little handbag that I like to take out on dates with my husband because that's an important relationship that I want to nurture and have in my life as well. I have my work bag because I'm very devoted to my career. I'm very devoted to my employees and my company and my business, and I want to make sure that that brings me a lot of joy, and I have to make sure I give attention to that area in my life. I have my church bag because I am also a woman of faith, and I have some strong beliefs in my faith and my higher power, and I have certain things in my day that I want to do to develop my faith and to stay strong spiritually. I have my purse, which it represents the financial part of my life and all of the finances and the way that I want to accumulate abundance and manage my resources wisely so that I'm not going into debt, and I'm very smart financially. And so the purse is really important for me. My gym bag, it represents the area of my life of staying healthy and taking care of my body, exercising, use my muscles to grow and be strong. I have like I said, my makeup bag for other parts of my body and self-care that I want to do. I have, what bag am I missing? What bag? Oh, my scrapbook bag. My scrapbook bag. That's my me time. That's my fun time. That's when I get a little bit of time to myself. I like to go and scrapbook. But there have been times when I have paid more attention to certain bags, and I use certain bags in my life more than others. And sometimes I've ignored some of these bags, and I haven't picked up my scrapbooking bag for months. There are some times that I don't take the kids swimming. There are some times that I need to set work aside so that I can do something else. And in finding a balance in your life, I like to think of it as being able to use these different bags at different times. And because if I'm trying to carry all the bags at once, I feel weighted down, and it feels heavy, and I feel overwhelmed, and it can feel very, very heavy. And so finding some order and a way to organize these bags and a way to organize all of these different areas of my life so that I am able to devote the time and attention at the proper time and prioritize these bags, I can find joy and happiness in all of them instead of misery and guilt. And I've ignored this one for too long. Now I feel guilty, or I'm ashamed because I'm feeling weighed down. I've carried this one too long. It's important to find a good balance. And that is so important for every single person, to find a balance. And we have something very valuable every single day to do that. And that is our time. We are blessed with 24 hours. Every day we're given a brand new set of 24 hours. Here you go. Here's 24 hours. What are you going to do with it? You have these 24 hours and you get to devote some time to all of these areas in your life. What are you going to do? And if we don't have a plan put together for these times in our life for how we're going to devote our time to all these areas, they'll get ignored. and you'll spend too much time in one area, and then it becomes almost like almost like a debt. Time is very similar to money. You can budget money and you can budget time. You can spend your money, you can spend your time. You can go into debt with money and you can go into debt with time. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more in just a second so that you can understand that relationship. But I want you guys to take just a moment and do this little exercise with me. So if you have your notebook ready and a pen and paper ready, I would like you to do this. I would like you to make a list of the different areas in your life where you would like to devote your time. Now, I just shared some of mine with you. I had about 10, 12 different areas. And sometimes we say different hats that we're wearing. Sometimes we say different goals, different areas. So make a list of the areas in your life where you would like to devote your time. I had kids, I had my husband, relationships, spiritual time, physical time. I'm going to give you just a moment to do that. So I'm going to wait just a second while you write all of those down. These are areas where you have a responsibility. These are areas where you have an interest. Don't forget about your hobbies. I can't forget about my scrapbooking. Remember those important things that are important to you, because we got to have time for you too. Okay, while you're finishing that up, I'm going to tell you a little story while you're finishing those up and thinking of those different areas in your life. About 15 years ago, I was a scrapbook consultant, like I said, and I loved doing that. I was a teacher. I taught school in the daytime. And then in the evenings, I would do scrapbook classes. I would teach scrapbooking I would have, people would have little parties at their home, little gatherings, and I would bring the products from the company. I would show the products. I would demonstrate them. We would make a card or a scrapbook page or a fun little project. It was a very hands-on activity, because when the people got to use it with their hands and make something, it was a lot of fun, and they took it home and they loved it. And it was a lot of fun. It filled my social need, because that could be an area too. Time with your friends, time to be social. It filled a social need for me. It filled a relaxing side for me. My hobby, I was like a creator. I was creating something. My artistic creative side was being fulfilled. And it was a lot of fun, but I had a problem with my time management. And I had at that time only one little girl, and she's 17 now, but at the time she was 2. And at that time, I would play with her. I'd work during the day. I would play with her in the evenings. And then at night, I would stay up late, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, to get some of these things done. And I was cutting into my sleep time. Sleep time is important. You can't cut into that. This is that debt I'm talking about. If you cut into your debt time, you've got to make it up somewhere else. But I was staying up late, and then I'd get up early and I'd be tired, and then I wouldn't be as happy and as friendly and nice and kind as I should be to my little girl and to people around me, because my emotions were messed up because I was tired. And so this was fun for me, though, to do this. And so I had been putting a lot of time into this. Well, I had a class coming up one weekend. It was on a Saturday. And I was trying to get everything ready. Everyone was going to be at my house at like 2 o'clock. And so not only did I have to try and get my house clean, I had to, I had to get all the projects ready. I was trying to get paperwork ready. There were a lot of things I was trying to get ready and get in order for this event that I was going to have at my house. And I was downstairs and I was on my computer trying to print out some papers. And time was running out. It was getting closer and closer to this event for this event to start. And as it was getting closer, I was getting more and more anxious inside because I was running out of time, and I was feeling that stress and that pressure and that anxiety and that tightness in my chest. And just, okay, am I the only one that ever feels this? If you felt that, let me know in the comments. I just was feeling this overwhelming anxiety about not getting ready on time. And I was stressed. I was pushed. And my little girl kept coming up to me and she's like, "Mommy, will you read this book to me?" And I was like, "No, I can't read this book right now. I'm getting my work done." And I was trying to keep working on the computer. And this is back when it was like dial-up internet. Does anybody remember that? When it would take like 10 minutes just to connect to the internet. And so I was really struggling trying to get this connection on, get my stuff done, get things printed out. And she'd come up to me again, "Mom, I want you to read me this book." And it's like, "I can't right now. I'm trying to get ready for my class." And my husband was behind me and he was watching TV. And after about the third or fourth time, I finally like turned on her and I was like, "Not right now. I'm getting my work done." And I yelled at her, and I just remember her looking up at me with her little eyes and just tears and just crying. And because I was unable to manage my time and manage my emotions, I took out that stress on her and I dumped that all on her. And that is the last place we should ever dump our stress or our anxiety or any negative emotion that is building up inside of it. The last place we want to dump that is on a person, especially a 2-year-old little girl. And I remember as soon as I said it, I felt guilty. Oh, what did I say? I shouldn't have said that. And I felt so much regret. And I was like, oh. And my husband, who was behind me watching this whole thing, he turned and he looked at me and he said, "Angie, she's 2. She wants some time with her mom." And it was a wake-up call for me because I had let time and my lack of management of time control my emotions and really not ruin that relationship, but that was a hard thing that I just did to my little girl. And that made me feel so bad. And it made me feel sad. And well, why am I even doing this scrapbook class? And what? And it brought up a ton of emotions for me. And it made me realize that I needed to manage my time better. And some of the things that I've been learning about time is we have a relationship with time. I was blaming time for my lack of emotional control with my daughter. Well, I didn't have enough time, and that's why I had to yell at her. I didn't have enough time to do this, and she's driving me crazy, and I was blaming time. It wasn't time's fault at all. How often are you late for something or you're trying to get things done? You're like, "Well, I just didn't have enough time." And it's kind of like taking the responsibility off of me and you're blaming time as if time is an entity. That's time's fault. I didn't have enough time. If I had more time, I could have got that done. Well, here's the funny thing about time. We all have the same amount of time, right? We all have 24 hours in a day. This is a gift. This is a blessing that we have to have these 24 hours. And so to say you don't have enough is you're blaming time. And it's almost coming from a mindset of scarcity. I just don't have enough time. We have plenty of time. We have 24 hours a day. What we need to do to improve our relationship with time is to use that time more wisely and stop blaming time, stop complaining about time and not doing these things. So here's a question for you. Let's determine what your relationship is with time right now, because that sounds funny. I know. A relationship with time. What do you mean? Well, here's 3 indicators. 1, what is your language about time? How do you talk about time? Do you talk about time in an abundance mode? I have plenty of time for that. Sure, I can make time for that. Or do you talk about time in scarcity mode? I don't have enough time. I'm going to have to squeeze that in. Things like that. How is your language about time? Are you blaming time? Now, I know you've probably all said, "I don't have enough time." And if you say that, that is an excuse for you not being able to manage your time. Well, I didn't have enough time for this. I didn't have enough time for that. There's a principle about time that if something is important to you and something matters, you will make time for it. I have to eat every day, and guess what? Somehow I find time to eat every single day. It matters to me, and I make sure I find time to eat. I make sure I find time to have a shower. What about make my bed? I make time to make my bed. What about wash the dishes? Well, you know what? I didn't wash the dishes. That was my daughter's job. Or, like we find things to do. We find ways to blame time for things we don't want to do. I'm just saying you might want to think about that. The next time you say, I don't have time, think about if it matters to you and think about how your relationship is with time in that regards. Okay, here's the second indicator about your relationship with time. Are you late or are you early to appointments? When you have an appointment, do you typically show up a few minutes early? Are you one of the first ones there? Or are you generally 5 to 10 minutes late? If you have a good relationship with time, you are showing up early or right on time because you are able to keep your commitment to time. You're saying, time, this is when I have set aside to do this. I will do it at this time. And when you keep your commitment, that's strengthening your relationship with time. If you're constantly late, you're going into that debt. You're going into that, oh, I'm sorry I was late. I was running out of time. Now you're blaming time again. So stop blaming time and start keeping your commitments. When you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. If you say you're going to wake up at a certain time every day, wake up at that time. Keep your commitments to time, and that will strengthen your relationship with time and help you improve your schedule. Okay, number 3, and I've got my notes here so that I don't miss any of them. The third one is use a calendar. Use a calendar to keep track of all of your appointments and stick to the calendar. How many times we put things on the calendar and things on a to-do list? Okay, I'm going to do all these things today, and then you don't do it. If you want to improve your relationship with time, put your things on the calendar, do them when you say you're going to do them, and that will help you gain that momentum and that relationship with your time so that you are knocking things off of your list. Okay, I want to also suggest this, that there is a direct correlation between everything that you're accomplishing in a day, how productive you are, and your self-esteem. The more you do and accomplish in a day, the better you feel. Think about it. Think about the days where you're like, oh, I have a nice lazy day today. I don't have to do a lot. Or if you get up and you don't really have anything planned and you don't really do anything, you just kind of feel like blah. Whereas if you are accomplishing things, that can boost your self-esteem and that can really keep that success energy going to help you accomplish more and more things. And so if you want to improve your relationship with time, I have 5 things that you can do. 5 really great proven tools to help you increase this relationship with time. The first one is to track your time. Track what you're doing in a day, because if we don't know where we're at and we don't know what we're doing with our time, we can't really change it or improve it. And so if you would like a copy of my time tracking worksheet, let me know in the comments, or you can email me, Angie@snowbusinesscoaching.com. I will send you a worksheet to help you track your time throughout the day. And this is a great exercise to do so that you can sit down and you can write, okay, from 6 to 7, I was at the gym. From 7 to 8, I was showering. From 8 to 9, I was getting kids ready for school. From 9 to 10, I was driving to work. From 10 to, you make a list and write everything you're doing. Now, I have a whole different level of this for business owners and for people who are in business. There is a way to track what you're doing throughout the day so that you can see where your most valuable tasks are and help you prioritize and get things done at work. Because sometimes we go to work and we just feel like we're spinning our wheels and not getting anything done. And so that is another option and another way to track your time at work so you can be more productive at work. So the first thing you can do to improve this relationship with time is see what are you doing with your time already and track your time. So we're going to be tracking your time. Do it for 24 hours. See what you're doing for 24 hours. Do it another day. It's really, if you can do it for 3 days in a row, it will give you a better picture of where you're actually spending your time. And I suggest to my clients to do it for a whole week and see where their time is. Because once you see where your time is, you can say, okay, how do I feel about this? Do I like how much time I'm spending at work? Do I like how much time I'm spending with my family? I don't have any time in here to clean my house. Ugh. I either need to hire a cleaning lady or I've got to fit some time in here to clean my house. So we've got to look at our schedule and figure out where we're spending our time so we then can create a new time budget for our week and make sure that we have time allocated for all of those areas of our lives. Okay, the next thing is to improve your thoughts and your language about time. No longer will you be saying, I don't have enough time. You are going to be saying, I have a lot of time today. I have an abundance of time. I have time to get everything finished. There's power in language. When you are saying these words, these declarations or affirmations or mantras or whatever you call them, as you say them, it's getting into your mind and you can say, I have plenty of time for my family. I have time to get everything done at work today. My life is fun and easy. There is so much time to do all of the things that I want. And when you upgrade your language and your thoughts about time, you will notice that your emotions will change toward the tasks that you're completing in a day. You will have a whole new emotion, which will add value to that part of your day. So just upgrading your thoughts and your language about time will help you. Okay, the third one, I want you to keep your commitments. I hope you will keep your commitments, create a schedule. Consistency is so important. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but starting to create a schedule of things that you do every morning and a schedule of things you do every evening, and being consistent with that schedule will help you create new habits and new routines and get you on a pattern of success and productiveness. The fourth thing, I would like to suggest that you stop multitasking. Just stop it. We like to think that we can multitask. And I hear a lot of moms say this. I hear people come into my office when they're interviewing and they say, I'm really good at multitasking. Well, there is a myth of multitasking. Multitasking is not a true thing. You cannot multitask. It is really, really hard to accomplish 3 things at the same time. Instead, I would suggest that you focus on one thing at a time. Totally complete it, then go to the next thing. Totally complete it, then go to the next thing. When you can focus all of your energy on one thing at a time, you will accomplish it faster than if you're going back and forth and back and forth. It's not multitasking, it's called switch tasking. And every time you switch task, you switch from one thing to another, to another, to another, you're actually losing 3 or 4 seconds trying to remember, now where was I when I left off on this? Oh yeah, that's where I was. And then you get started on that again. Then you go to another one, but then you come back to this and you're like, where was I? And you're wasting time because you're not focused. So stop multitasking, and because that's really switch tasking. Now I've heard some people say, well, wait a minute, can't I listen to something and do something else? Because that's kind of multitasking, right? If I'm listening to a talk while I'm washing the dishes or something like that, you can do some of those. That's a little bit different thing. But when you're trying to focus on 3 different things at the same time, that's hard. So don't switch task. You're wasting time. And the 5th one is to become very intentional. The 5th thing you can do to increase your relationship with time is to be very, very intentional with your time. Have a plan. Create a plan for your day. Create a plan for your week, and create a plan for the month, for the year. Have a plan in place. When you become intentional and you have a plan in place, you will succeed every single time. You have to stay to the plan. You have to follow the plan, but put a plan in place. When I was a school teacher, one of the things that they taught us was if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. And that is so applicable in so many areas. As a school teacher, if I did not have my lesson plans already and my day planned and my week planned, I actually had to have the whole year planned so that I wouldn't miss the curriculum, and I got all the curriculum in during the year. And it came down to very strategic planning in my day to make sure that my kids could get all of the subjects, all the topics, all the curriculum, and have some fun. And it was very, very well planned out. And so when we're planning our days, we need to start with a plan too. So I want to start with today. I'm going to train you on how to put your plan together to help you make sense of this and to help you free a little bit of space in your mind, a little bit of you're going to get rid of some of this overwhelming feeling that you have, because we feel that when we feel tasks piling up on us and we feel like we have a lot to do, we're going to be able to organize this in a way to get rid of that heavy feeling and to help you bring some order to your tasks. So the next thing I'd like you to do is, on another piece of paper or the same one, just write, I'm going to do this, make some squares or some rectangles. Okay, this is a super, oh my goodness, I don't know if you can see it. See, just make some squares like this, okay? And what you're going to do is at the top of each one, you're going to list the different areas of your life that you had just made that list of earlier. So you might put family in one of your squares. You might put work in one of your squares. You might put my home, what things need to be done in my home. You're going to list every square a different category. You're going to put a category in each one of your squares. And this is something that I do on a weekly basis. Every Sunday is my day. You don't have to do it Sunday. You can do it whatever day you want to. You pick your day. I choose Sunday because that is the day that I have a little bit of extra time set aside to do this. I put the time on in my calendar to do this on Sunday. And on Sunday, I make a list like this. And I list all my different categories in all of my squares. And once I've done that, I do step number 2, which is a mind clearing. I take all of the things out of my mind, the little to-do list, that ongoing to-do list that starts filling up in your mind of all the things that need to be done this week. And I take them out of my mind and I put them on the paper. All right, this week I really want to organize the pantry. I'm going to put that in my home one. This week in my coaching, I need to make sure I have 2 more presentations ready. So I put that in under my coaching section. For scrapbooking, I may have something that I need to get done for scrapbooking. If it's something that needs to be done this week, I'll put it on there. If it doesn't need to be done this week, I may put it on a different list that's like a task list of things that I want to go back and revisit to put on a future list. So I'll just keep this future list running, things that I don't necessarily need to have done this week, but things that I'd like to do, and I will keep that list going. So I'm going to just clear my mind, everything I can think of. All right, I got to remember that my son has a basketball game this night. My daughter has a drill team practice on this day. My other daughter has gymnastics. I'm just going to be thinking of everything that I can think of that needs to be done for that following week. And I put it on the paper. So I'm clearing my mind. And then I keep this close by me. I keep it close by because I may have something else pop in my mind. Oh, I got to remember to pay that bill. Or, oh, I need to remember to take cookies to this person or call somebody or something. If anything pops into my mind, I hurry and get it out of my mind and put it on paper so I know where it is. And I do that throughout the week. After everything is on the paper, step number 3 is to prioritize. I prioritize and I go through all of these categories and I choose which ones are the most important things. Which ones do I want to make sure I do not forget? I absolutely have to have these done this week. And I get out my calendar and I put it, that's step number 4, put it on the calendar. And I would suggest you have one calendar that you use for this, because I know I've had a lot of calendars. I have my little planner that I take with me. I have a calendar on the wall. I have my Google Calendar. I have all these different calendars, but I have to coordinate it into one calendar. And so For me, I've used my Google Calendar to keep track of my different work assignments, and I know all my work is on there so that in my personal planner, I can put more of my personal action items, family things. I can also put down, if it's work related, I just put work, and I know to look on my Google Calendar because sometimes that gets a little bit more full than I can fit in this book. But I put the things that are the most important to me. When I prioritize them, I put them in the book and in my calendar. And I remember we have to stick to that calendar. So you put them in the calendar, and you just go through, and all the things that are the most important, you stick them on the calendar. Now, when you are doing this, I do not want you to fill up every single spot in your calendar. You have to leave some open spaces. You have to leave some leeway time, because emergencies happen. Things come up, things you aren't expecting. And when that happens, you can easily flip into stress mode because you're like, wait a minute, whoa, I don't have a spot for that. I don't have time for that, right? There's that, I don't have time. You do have time because you have scheduled some extra, I call it buffer time. Schedule buffer time into your schedule. And usually it's really something that I like to do, especially in my work schedule. I only schedule things for 50 minutes instead of an hour. I like to leave an extra 10 minutes at the end of every hour for anything like having a snack, using the restroom, having, meeting with an employee really quick. Little things come up. So leave 10 minutes in your every hour for some buffer time so that you can pick up whatever you need to do. And in your schedule, if you have an extra hour, leave it. And if you get to that time in your day and you're following your schedule and you're like, oh, it's my buffer time and nothing came up, you don't have any emergencies, well, great. Go to your task list and knock something off your task list that you didn't have in your schedule. That's perfect time to go get those extra things done that you didn't have time to, that you didn't have a place to schedule it. I have to catch myself. See, I said you don't have time. You do have time. It's managing your time. We have time. So put that into that spot. This is so cool because you get to be the creator of your day. You get to decide where everything goes, and you get to decide the extra places where nothing goes, that you can have some things just for you. And please schedule some time just for you. We should schedule time for ourselves every single day and use that time to do whatever you like to do. Some people love video games. Schedule time to play a video game. Schedule time to have a nap. Schedule time to just go be outside and get some fresh air and enjoy nature. Go for a walk. Schedule that me time for yourself. That's so important to be able to do that, because that me time will help recharge you, re-energize you, refresh you. Don't forget that. That is how people burn out. People burn out when they do not have time to recharge and refresh themselves. So please, please schedule that. Right now, if you haven't done it, one of your boxes needs to say me, and what you're going to do for yourself, okay? Make sure you do that. So let's go over these 4 steps that I've told you so far. So you're first going to have your categories down right here. Second, you're going to clear your mind. Take all of the to-do lists, task lists, things that you don't want to forget. Take them out of your mind. Put them on paper so you do not forget them. Third, prioritize and process. You're going to prioritize these items. You're going to put them into your calendar. That's the 4th one. Get your calendar all figured out. Everything's on a calendar. And then once you do that, you will review your calendar daily. This is a daily review of your calendar. I set aside time every morning and every evening to look at my calendar. And this has been huge for me. Huge. Because we've got to remind ourselves what we're doing that day. We've got to remind ourselves what the plan is. And you know what's kind of fun is I'm looking at this because I'm going to show you this. This is called my Daily Intentional 10, and I'd love for all of you to have a copy. So if you'd like to have a copy of my Daily Intentional 10, please send me an email or leave me a message, comment in the comments, and let me know that you'd like a copy of this. This is my daily routine that I do to help me track my time, to stay intentional about my day, to keep my time commitments, to make sure that I'm remembering all of those categories and areas in my life that make me happy. And I use this on a daily basis and I review it daily. I use it in the morning. What I do, and I want to explain this to you because I want all of you guys to be able to use this and do this. This is so awesome. It's been so great for me. So I will just read these. First thing in the morning, it's called my intentional 10 because it takes 10 minutes. It really does. Some mornings I do it as fast as 5 minutes, and other mornings I'm a little more thoughtful and I take the full 10. But really, we can take 10 minutes a day. I do it as soon as I get up, brush my teeth, and I'm coherent enough to actually sit down. And I look at this, and there are 10 questions that you answer. And you can do this within your calendar and like in a journal. You can do it in a notebook. You decide where you want to answer these questions. But by being accountable to yourself and accountable to time, this will help you be more intentional with your time and track your time and really make sure that you're touching these areas. So let's look at these 10 questions, okay? The first one says, what am I grateful for today? We start off the very first thing with a intention of gratitude. This is abundance. I have many things to be grateful for. We all have many things to be grateful for. And so by listing, I list at least 3. Sometimes my list goes on longer than that, but I start with 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes that early in the morning, I'm like, oh, I'm grateful that I got to sleep. That felt so great. I'm grateful for my family. And I think of these things, but I try to think of different things every day. So it's not just the same 3 every single day. Think of at least 3 things that you're grateful for, because that automatically shifts your mindset into a mindset of abundance and that you've been blessed and you have things. Once you have answered that one, number 2 is, what are my top 3 tasks that I would like to accomplish by the end of the day? Now think about your day, look at your calendar, and look at all the things that need to be done and think, okay, which 3 need to be done no matter what? No matter what, these 3 things will be finished. If at the end of the day, I get nothing else done, but I got these 3 things done, I will feel successful and I will feel accomplished. And you pick those top 3 things. Okay, so pick the top 3 things and write your top 3 things that you not have to, but you will get done by the end of the day, and commit yourself to that and stay to those top 3 things. The third question is, what are my appointments for today? It's really important to look at your calendar and be like, okay, now what are my appointments? I can't tell you how many times I've missed the dentist because I've forgotten about it because I didn't look at my calendar in the morning. I've done that. But you guys aren't going to do it because you guys are going to be writing down and looking at your calendar and making sure you're aware of what all of your appointments are for the day. Okay. Number 4, how will I spiritually strengthen myself today? I think of the things that I want to do and need to do to stay connected to my higher power, and I write those things down. And some days I have more time for that. Some days I don't have as much time. I don't have time. I have time. I haven't allocated as much time for that. So I determine how much of my time I will allocate, and I commit to that, because to me, that's an important part of my life. And I want to make sure that I am in alignment with that. Number 5, how will I strengthen my relationships with my loved ones today? I think about it. What time have I got set aside in my calendar for my loved ones? And this is one of those ones, I say you can't multitask. This is one of those things you can do while doing something else. You could be grocery shopping with a child and really focusing on that relationship while getting your grocery shopping done. You can do things with people and connect with people while you're doing other tasks. So think about the relationships that you want to have strengthened. Write down what you will do so that you're intentionally setting that intention for the day of, okay, when I do this, I'm going to be connecting with this person this way. When I go to work, this is a coworker that I'm thinking about today, and I want to reach out and make a special connection to them. Or I haven't talked to say my grandma for a while. I'm going to call her. My grandparents they've all passed on, but one of the most precious times and things that I did was I would call my grandmother on the way home from work 2 or 3 times a week. And I have about a half-hour commute. And so 2 or 3 times a week, I would have a wonderful conversation with my grandmother. And that was a way I was able to strengthen that relationship with her and stay connected to her while I was doing something I'm doing anyway. I'm driving to work. And so it was beautiful. It was a great opportunity for me to do that. So that is question number 4. How will I spiritually strengthen myself? That was 5. How I strengthen my relationships. I apologize. Number 6, how will I invest my time learning today? This is our self-development. This is how we are continually improving and growing. What you're doing right now, being a part of this webinar, is self-development. You are learning and you are growing and you're improving yourself. So every single day, you should set aside a little bit of time to do this. My husband does this on the way to work. He listens to self-improvement tapes or CDs on the way to work. He reads a book. There are so many different ways that you can improve yourself and learn and grow and increase your knowledge on a daily basis. But set that intention. What can I do today to personally grow? Okay, number 7, how will I take care of my physical needs today? Set that intention. How are you going to eat today? What kinds of foods will you eat? Are you going to exercise? Are you going to get some fresh air? What things will you do to take care of your physical body today and your physical needs? And make that a priority and put it in the calendar. Number 8, how will I care for my home today? Is it doing a couple loads of laundry? Will you clean your bathroom? Will you wash the sheets? What are you going to do in your home today? Number 9, what other goals do I want to remember? This is one when I'm working with my clients, they put in their specific 30-day goal or whatever goal it is that they're working on. And because when we're continually taking action toward a bigger goal, we're going to hit the goal. We're going to get the goal. And so action steps toward any other goal is number 9. And number 10 is, what is my intention for the day? What do I want to do for this day? What intention do I want to bring with me everywhere I go? It's like an energy. What feeling do I want to bring? Am I going to be confident everywhere I go? Am I going to be powerful everywhere I go? Am I going to be kind everywhere I go? Or am I just going to let the world choose for me and let things influence me and decide how I'm going to be? Decide what your intention will be for the day. Some days our intention is just to rest and relax and recover our bodies. Some days you have a busy day at work and you're just like, I'm going to be very productive today. And that is my intention. I'm going to be very disciplined. I'm going to be focused. Think of one word to describe your day and start that day with that intention and move forward with that intention in mind. There are some days that one word is not enough for me and I need 2 or 3 words. But don't make this huge long list. Stay focused, 1, 2, or 3 words. I'll give you permission to do that, okay? And then at the end of the day, go back to your list and review it and see how you did. Go back to your journal, your calendar. How did I do today? This is the last step in being productive and making sure that you're filling your capacity and not overwhelming yourself. Go back and look at your day and make a list of the things that I did. I like to list at least 3 successes or 3 wins from my day. What are 3 things that was awesome about today? 3 things that I did that just was a good thing I was alive today, because look at these 3 awesome things that I accomplished. And go for it and make the list longer and longer if you want, because I know you accomplished more than 3 things. And hopefully those top 3 things were accomplished. But what else? What else did you do that gave you that feeling of success and accomplishment? Because that energy, if you do this on a daily basis, that success and accomplishment energy will push you right into the next day and get you excited to knock out 3 more things and be even more productive the next day. It's super, super fun. So do this at the end of the day. Think of your 3 things that you just did amazing at. Write those down. I also list 3 more things that I'm grateful for. Show my gratitude for those things to help keep me in that abundance mindset before I go to bed. And I also list 3 last things, which are 3 lessons maybe 3 things that did not go so well during the day. Things that I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have yelled at my kid at this time, or I should have got that project done at work and I didn't get it done. But what can I learn from not getting it done? What can I learn from the experiences that didn't go so well today? And write those down, because if you can find the gold in those experiences are meaningful. And those experiences are valuable to you. Even though you didn't get the result you wanted, it's still a valuable result. It's still valuable because you found the gold in that and you can learn from that so that you don't make that same mistake again. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So quickly review those 5 steps. We've got our categorize, clear your mind, prioritize, calendar is number 4. And the last one, number 5, is to review. At the end of the day, review your day, review how you did with your time, and just see how you did. Now, if you would like to work more closely with me and have me help you with managing your time and giving you some steps and more suggestions that are personalized to you and your life and your situation, I would love that. And for all of you that have watched this webinar and you've stayed with me this whole time, I hope you've gained some valuable tools, and I would love to give you 20 minutes of my time to share with you and to give you ideas to help you organize and manage your time better. So send me an email, send me a message, let me know that you'd like some of my time, and I'd be happy to share that with you. My email again is Angie@snowbusinesscoaching.com, and I'm excited to get to connect with you guys. I really hope that you've found some value in today's webinar and today's training, that you can use these 5 steps to really manage your day, your life, your week, everything better, and hopefully some ideas to help you increase your relationship with time, to upgrade your language about time and how you're using time, to stop blaming time and start managing it, because it's such a special gift. And one of the things that I love and that I've heard and has really stuck with me is, how do you spell love? And how do you spell that? T-I-M-E. If you really want to share love with the people around you, you give them your time. So please make sure you schedule some time for the people that you love and stay connected to them, the people at work, the people, your neighbors, your family especially, and really build and develop those relationships. I'm so grateful you joined me. If you have any other questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. And I wish you all the best in managing your time. And I will talk to you next time. We'll see you later.